Hi, this is
Hi, this is Andy.
this is Kim. We're,
Today,
we're going to read to you from the Urantia book, but first we have 365 Days of Walking the Red Road by Terry Jean.
today I haven't looked ahead.
Today is
July
July
11th,
10th.
10th.
July 10th.
We hear from Chased by Bears, the Santi Yanktonai Sioux.
Who lived from 1843 to 1915.
He said, "When a man does a piece of work which is admired by all, we say that it is wonderful. But when we see the changes of day and night, the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky, and the changing seasons upon the earth, with their ripening fruits, anyone must realize that it is the work of someone more powerful than man." Wow.
Okay, we didn't
Yep.
do that. Right. We're trying to upstage God all the time.
Right.
Humans are always trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yep. Don't you see that?
Mm-hmm.
We don't need God. We don't need that. We could, do better than the ripening the fruit. We can put it in a can or something great like that. And it's
Mhm.
not all of a sudden, half of its nutritional value is gone, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, silly humans.
Well, we try to play at being God from time to time. It doesn't always go well.
It doesn't go well. What at play in the fields of God or something like that. That was
Play
it
in the fields of the Lord.
of the Lord. Wow. I. All right, so in the Tao Te Ching, we're on chapter 78. And I'm figuring out, okay, what are we gonna do if we did this one? Do you want to redo this one or what? Because we're almost done with this one. We want to fish out a different translation of the Tao Te Ching. We want to maybe there's also the Lunar Tao. That's beautiful. We could do that
We'll have to do our homework off camera.
off camera. But I'm at my best when I'm doing homework. I'll see my brilliant, theoretical process and right.
Or just present it after we've decided.
If you want,
Yeah.
if you say so.
So is this the last?
No, there's three. There's three more
Oh.
after this one. There's 81 because Taoists were very fond of square numbers.
Hmm.
Like the I Ching is in 64.
Mm-hmm.
64 parts.
Mm-hmm.
This one is in 81. So yeah. Anyway, we'll read it.
Nothing in the world is softer or weaker than water.
That's my element. Water appears to be the weakest and softest thing in the world. It always conforms to the shape of its container. Pour it into a bottle, it's a bottle. Pour it into a cup, it's a cup. Water is the ultimate symbol of the yielding and flexible aspect of the Tao.
Yet nothing is better at overcoming the hard and strong. This is because nothing can replace it.
At the same time, there is also nothing better than water at dissolving the hardest and most unyielding rocks. Takes a long time, but it's relentless. Yeah, we only have to look around to see how water has carved ravines and canyons out of mountains all over the world. Water is the universal solvent. Nothing can replace it.
That the weak overcomes the strong and the soft overcomes the hard. Everybody in the world knows, but cannot put into practice.
Right. So everybody has to try to be hard
Mm-hmm.
and impatient. Water is so patient.
Mm-hmm.
Just keeps on and on and on. This observation of water teaches us that despite a yielding, humble appearance, the weak overcomes the strong and the soft overcomes the hard. This is a principle that we can all understand, yet somehow we cannot put it into practice in real life. We still have a tendency to meet force with force When someone yells at us, we yell back louder. When someone trespasses against us, we retaliate in full measure. But water, like, oh, I was thinking when it becomes ice, it's powerful. So it can act like that, becomes ice, so it infiltrates everything when it's really soft, and then turns to ice and it totally explodes stuff like pipes and
Mm-hmm.
highways and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Water is awesome.
Mm-hmm. When it turns to steam, it really permeates everything.
It turns to steam. Yeah, and it can burn you. It's we're gonna go have some steam in us today. Yeah, okay.
Therefore, sages say the one who accepts the humiliation of the state
How should we react to humiliation? To accept it calmly requires far more strength of character than to respond with hostility and aggression. Remember the power of water and let it guide you to yield and overcome. Yep. So even if you're humiliated, to just let that water go by instead of, yeah,
is called its master, the one who accepts the misfortunes of the state.
yep. What happens when we encounter misfortune? If we can be like water, then we too will have the depth of character to contain difficulties and disappointments. Keep the lesson of water with you as you handle setbacks in your life.
Becomes king of the world. The truth seems like the opposite.
By by embracing the seemingly weak and soft, we gain personal power. This is a truth that at first glance appears contrary to expectations. So, if you accept the misfortune of the state, you become king of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because it embraces everything. The one who accepts the humiliation of the state is called its master.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, very interesting. Okay. Okay, so we're on in the Urantia book. We are reading paper 52, section 1 about primitive man. Okay,
Okay, we start.
I'll start. From the time of man's emergence from the animal level, when he can choose to worship the Creator, to the arrival of the planetary prince, mortal will creatures are called primitive men. There are 6 basic types or races of primitive men, and these early people successively appear in the order of the spectrum colors, beginning with the red. Right? The length of time consumed in this early life evolution varies greatly on the different worlds, ranging from 150,000 years to over 1 million years of Urantia time. The evolutionary races of color red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and indigo begin to appear about the time that primitive man is developing a simple language and is beginning to exercise the creative imagination. By this time, man is well accustomed to standing erect.
Hmm.
Okay, so standing erect, this is like one of the a main thing. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
so it's like forget about like whales and dolphins having superior intelligence. Although there are water breathers, but do they stand erect too? I don't know.
Hmm.
Interesting. I don't know. Okay, primitive men are highly hunters. Oh no, primitive men are mighty hunters and fierce fighters. The law of this age is the physical survival of the fittest. Hello, Darwin. The government of these times is wholly tribal. During the early racial struggles on many worlds, some of the evolutionary races are obliterated, as occurred on Urantia. Those who survive are usually subsequently blended with the later imported violet race, the Adamic peoples.
Hmm.
Okay.
In light of subsequent civilization, this era of primitive man is a long, dark, and bloody chapter. The ethics of the jungle and the morals of the primeval forests are not in keeping with the standards of later dispensations of revealed religion and higher spiritual development. On normal and non-experimental worlds, this epoch is very different from the prolonged and extraordinarily brutal struggles which characterized this age on Urantia.
Mm-hmm.
When you have emerged from your first world experience, you will begin to see why this long and painful struggle on the evolutionary worlds occurs, and as you go forward on the paradise path, you will increasingly understand the wisdom of these apparently strange doings. But notwithstanding all the vicissitudes of the early ages of human emergence, the performance of primitive man represents a splendid, even a heroic chapter in in the annals of an evolutionary world of time and space. There you go.
Wow. Okay. Early evolutionary man is not a colorful creature. In general, these primitive mortals are cave dwellers or cliff residents. They also build crude huts in the large trees. Before they acquire a high order of intelligence, the planets are sometimes overrun with the larger types of animals. But early in this era, mortals learn to kindle and maintain fire. And with the increase of inventive imagination and the improvement of tools, evolving man soon vanquishes the larger and more unwieldy animals. Right. The early races also make extensive use of the larger flying animals. These enormous birds are able to carry one or two average sized men, right?
Hmm.
Just like on Avatar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These enormous birds are able to carry one or two average sized men for a non-stop flight over 500 miles.
Hmm. Wow.
This is amazing, right? On some planets, these birds are of great service since they possess a high order of intelligence, often being able to speak many words of the languages of the realm. These birds are most intelligent, very obedient, and unbelievably affectionate. Such passenger birds have been long extinct on Urantia, but your early ancestors enjoyed their services. So
Hmm.
what if we didn't? What if we still had those birds? Would we have airplanes then?
No.
Well, you'd still have this need to move cargo, but you could still move it by train and by other means. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But like the airplanes and stuff, I think how much of man's like you want to fly, we always want to fly. What if we could hop on the back of a bird and fly? Would we have needed to make airplanes?
No, I don't think so.
Didn't think so. We could still move cargo across land, but probably not as fast. But eventually someone would think up like an idea to move cargo, try to like harness a lot of these birds to move like, okay, we're gonna like they probably wouldn't like that though. I don't know. It's like wild. Okay, it's cool. I want to ride on a damn bird. Come on, man. Oh, I'm gonna go.
There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to here, then you go. Okay, man's acquirement of ethical judgment, moral will, is usually coincident with the appearance of early language. That's interesting. Okay, what is it about language that makes us more moral? Upon attaining the human level after this emergence of mortal will, these beings become receptive to the temporary indwelling of the divine adjusters. And upon death, many are duly elected as survivors and sealed by the archangels for subsequent resurrection and spirit fusion. The archangels always accompany the planetary princes, and a dispensational adjudication of the realm is simultaneous with the prince's arrival. Okay.
All mortals who are indwelt by thought adjusters are potential worshippers. They have been lighted by the true light, and they possess capacity for seeking reciprocal contact with divinity. Nevertheless, the earlier biologic religion of primitive man is largely a persistence of animal fear, coupled with ignorant awe and tribal superstition. The survival of superstition in the Urantia races is hardly complementary to your evolutionary development, nor compatible with your otherwise splendid achievements and material progress. But this early fear religion serves a very valuable purpose in subduing the fiery tempers of these primitive creatures.
Mm-hmm.
It is the forerunner of civilization and the soil for the subsequent planting of the planting of the seeds of revealed religion by the planetary prince and his ministers.
Yeah. You go. You finish it.
Within 100,000 years from the time man acquires erect posture, the planetary prince usually arrives, having been dispatched by the sister sovereign upon the report of the life carriers that will is functioning, even though comparatively few individuals have thus developed. Primitive mortals usually welcome the planetary prince and his visible staff. In fact, they often look upon them with awe and reverence, almost with worshipfulness, if they are not restrained.
Right. Right. Because it seems like they're being so much higher than them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about this idea of like morality emerging with or coincidence with the appearance of language. So that's really interesting because language, I think what it does, the earliest, allows us to communicate with each other, but it also allows us to reflect. Because is your mind able to reflect outside of language? Like think of what you did and what you said, and like in post ex facto faction. So communication, like is in the moment here. I can say you this here, but I can say to you here this and that. But this allows us, but language here, especially writing, but even like just oral language. You know what I mean? What do you think about that? Oral language is mostly in the moment. We say what we say just when we say it. We don't we don't plan that much what we're going to say. It's just like we just say something. But especially with written language, okay, we're able to reflect on what was said.
But even oral language, when someone captures a thought or an idea with oral language, that can be repeated. It's captured
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it's repeated
in song or sayings.
Song or sayings, and then people can judge those deeds that those things as moral or immoral, so they can have like reflection on them even when I tell you a story. Yeah, it's true. I think that's kind of key. Yeah, that's interesting. All right. Fabulous. Okay, we go now. We go. Have a good day. You have a good day too. I'm tired. I want to go back to bed, but I can't do that. You won't let me.
Have a great Sunday.
Okay, bye.
I've decided I don't have the time right